I want to be respected and viewed as a top executive. I hear a version of that in my work with successful, high-achieving leaders. And I understand it personally because I've lived it. Here's what most people get wrong. They think the path to greater influence runs through managing other people better. And yes, that matters. But in my years working with executives and high-achieving leaders, I've learned something that changes everything. True leadership begins with leading yourself first. Today, I'm going to walk you through the 7 essentials of leading yourself. These are the 7 qualities that quietly determine whether you rise or stay exactly where you are. And honestly, most leaders I work with are missing at least one, even the ones who look like they have it all figured out. Let me describe someone to you, and you tell me if she sounds familiar. She delivers every time. She has the credentials, the results, the trust of senior leaders. Her performance reviews are flawless. And from the outside, everything looks successful. But she can't see how to rise beyond this level. Something feels like it's missing. The recognition and the respect she knows she's earned still feel just out of reach. And in the privacy of her mind, she has started to feel behind. That was me. My name is Stephanie Hessler. I am an executive leadership coach, and I work with senior leaders, including high-achieving women in corporate at the director, VP, SVP level and above, who are successful on paper, but feel like their advancement has stalled or their leadership isn't landing the way it should. Earlier in my career, I was a vice president in the investment business, working with CEOs, CFOs, and high-level strategic teams on billions of dollars of transactions. I was raising a family at the same time, and I burned out. When I did, it was painful. My brain and my body felt physically exhausted. All of me hurt. I was waking up at 2 a.m. with my mind racing. I was doing everything right and still feeling behind. I had the outer game and the work ethic handled. What was missing was the inner one. And here's why this matters more right now than it ever has. Think about what leaders are navigating today. AI is reshaping entire industries at a pace that no one predicted. Trust is eroding. Burnout has become the norm. And expectations on leaders keep rising. What used to get dismissed as soft skills, self-awareness, emotional steadiness, the ability to really listen. These are now leadership advantages. As Peter Drucker, recognized as the father of modern management, put it, you cannot manage other people unless you manage yourself first. That's always been true, and right now it's essential. So let me give you the 7, and stay with me to the end, because the 7th one is the one almost everybody skips, and it's often the one that changes everything. Before we dive in, I've put together a free self-leadership scorecard, a 5-minute self-audit to help you identify your self-leadership gaps. The link is in the description. Grab it now and work through it this week. And if you'll do me a favor and hit the subscribe button, it helps me grow this channel and offer more free content like this. One quick frame before we start. In today's world, you are the CEO of your life and your career. The pace of change is faster than it's ever been, and complexity is the new normal. And great leadership begins with self-leadership. Before you can inspire anyone else, you have to master the way you think, feel, and behave, and do it on purpose. Here are the 7. Number 1, you know where you're going, professionally and personally. In a world full of noise and constant disruption, clarity is power. The leaders people follow are the ones anchored by a bold, meaningful vision for their future, combined with a real sense of purpose and direction. This means clear, bold goals and alignment with your core values. A 3-year vision that is vivid enough that you can see it. Ask yourself, what executive level do I aspire to? What influence do I want to have? How do I want people to experience me as a leader? And what kind of life do I want my career to support? Steve Jobs said it like this: if you are working on something that you really care about, you don't have to be pushed. The vision pulls you. Vision matters, yes, but how you meet the challenges that will inevitably come up determine whether you ever get there. Which brings me to number 2. You maintain an excellent attitude. Your attitude is like a composite of your thoughts your feelings, and your action. It's the energy you bring, and it shapes how you show up. And hear this, you're always in an attitude. You maintain an excellent attitude by building awareness first, then strengthening your mindset by learning to manage your thoughts and your emotions, especially under pressure. When you have an excellent attitude, you respond, you don't react. Here's a practical way to approach this. When a challenge comes up, stop and ask, how can I look at this differently? What's a new point of view that helps me move forward constructively? I had to learn this one myself. Earlier in my career, challenges could feel discouraging. As I got better at this, I began to see them differently. I stopped treating them as setbacks and started treating them as part of the process. Even more, I started to see challenges as an opportunity for me to grow and be better. That shift changed how I responded and ultimately the results I created. And in a climate where anxiety and uncertainty are high, the energy you bring sets the tone for you and everyone around you. Number 3, you take 100% responsibility. This is the uncomfortable one, and it's the one that separates people fastest. Taking 100% responsibility means you own your results and you follow through. You acknowledge mistakes and you learn from them. You maintain that excellent attitude even when things get hard. And most importantly, you stop being a victim. You stop blaming, complaining, or making excuses. Let's be clear. Challenges are real. Some of them are very hard. For a lot of the women I work with, the glass ceiling is real. But taking responsibility is about refusing to hand your power to any of it. And here's what makes this so powerful right now. It's increasingly rare. Look around at how many conversations in your organization are about what's being done to people rather than what those people are choosing to do. When you model 100% responsibility, others follow. That's leadership before you ever have the title. So let's talk about structure so you don't burn out from taking 100% responsibility. Number 4, you build habits that support your goals. Your routines reflect your values. When the external world is unpredictable, your internal structure becomes your stability. Here's the part most people miss. Over time, your habits are who you become. Your paradigm, the habitual mental programming running underneath everything, in other words, it's subconscious, is a multitude of habits. So the leader you're growing into, the one operating at the next level, is built from a different set of habits than the ones running you today. Becoming your future self now requires new habits. This means consciously choosing new thoughts, new beliefs, new behaviors. Your daily practices are the vehicle. This is exactly the work behind practices I teach my clients, like the daily 4x4 and the 6 goal achieving actions. Small, consistent, and connected to what matters. My guidance is simple. Always have 1 or 2 new habits you're actively working on. Keep it simple. 1 or 2 at a time. Consistency, discipline, and intentionality are what keep you performing at a high level when everything around you is moving. And notice what this sets up, because you can't build the right habits if you're not willing to hear the truth about the ones you have. Number 5, you stay coachable and committed to growth. You welcome feedback. You lean into discomfort. You want to get better, not just be right. Jim Rohn used to say, don't wish it was easier, wish you were better. In Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill points out that there are 2 types of people in the world, leaders and followers. And he says, decide at the outset which you intend to be. But then he adds something people miss. He explains that most great leaders began as followers. They became great leaders because they were intelligent followers. I took that seriously. When I first became certified as a consultant in the personal growth field, I attended training events, sometimes several times a year, flying to Toronto or Los Angeles. And I did this because I wanted to be a good follower and learn from leaders I really respected. That's what this looks like in practice. Invest in coaches and seek out mentors throughout your career. Ask for help. Ask for guidance. Keep studying leadership and personal growth. I recently read How to Make a Few Billion by Brad Jacobs because I wanted to understand how he created such extraordinary results in business and life and learn from him directly. And here's why your continuous improvement is always an advantage. We're in a culture that rewards results, which means the willingness to keep learning is the closest thing to an unfair advantage you can give yourself. Number 6, you make intentional decisions. You say no to what doesn't serve your vision. You stop people pleasing. You act with focus and purpose. Intentional decisions are what let you hold high standards and firm boundaries. And what this really means is you will have to say no to things, even things that seem like good ideas. Warren Buffett, one of the most successful investors of all time, said, "The difference between successful people and really successful people is that really successful people say no to almost everything." In a world pulling your attention in every direction, that kind of clarity is rare, and people trust leaders who know what they stand for. This is also where you protect your time to think. It's why I teach clients to set aside weekly strategy time, a weekly appointment with yourself, one protected hour to lead from your priorities instead of your inbox. So be discerning about what you agree to. Focus isn't a personality trait, it's a decision you make over and over. By the way, I created a video on exactly this topic, and you can watch it next. How top leaders get their time back. Now, the 7th one. This is the one I told you almost everybody skips. You align your mindset with the results you want. Don't leave success to chance. Picture it clearly. You think, believe, and behave like someone who has already achieved it. In other words, you lead your life in the present from the mindset of your future self. You align your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions with the results you want to create at work, at home, and socially. As organizational psychologist Dr. Benjamin Hardy puts it, research shows that the more connected you are to your own future self, the wiser the decisions you make here and now. The inner picture always drives the outer results. Here's the reason almost everyone skips it. Your paradigm, that habitual mental programming, remember, it's subconscious. It's so strong that it'll unknowingly pull you right back to old ways. You can set the goal. You can build the habits. And if you haven't changed the picture you hold of yourself, you'll drift right back to who you've always been. This is a self-image shift. It requires becoming the person your vision requires. And for me, it also meant learning to connect to my center, the inside of me. So I was leading from a steady place instead of a reactive one. Let me take you back to that VP who was waking up at 2 a.m. in the morning. Everything looked right on paper. And I want to tell you what actually changed for me, because it wasn't a new tactic. It was that I stopped trying to earn my way to the next level and started becoming the person who already belonged there. I worked on changing the picture first. The recognition I'd been chasing didn't arrive because I worked harder. It arrived because I finally made the decision to lead myself first. I committed to the very 7 essentials I just walked you through, and I gave myself steady leadership. That's the answer to the question I opened with. The respect and the recognition you're looking for, they're not granted to you from above. They're built by you from the inside. Self-leadership is what builds the trust, the influence, and the respect you're looking for. And in today's climate, where the pressure on leaders has never been higher, it's also what makes you more and more irreplaceable. So there they are, the 7 essentials of leading yourself. You know where you're going. You maintain an excellent attitude. You take 100% responsibility. You build habits that support your goals. You stay coachable and committed to growth. You make intentional decisions. You align your mindset with the results you want. Yes, it can be hard, but it's worth it. When you lead yourself first, you'll feel more confident and you'll grow in your effectiveness as a leader of others. This is the heart of what I call leadership and alignment. Skill, presence, peace of mind. As you know, leadership isn't just about you. As Eleanor Roosevelt said, a good leader inspires people to have confidence in the leader. A great leader inspires people to have confidence in themselves. That's the goal here. So let me ask you, which one of the 7 do you most need to lean into right now? Drop the number in the comments. I read every single one, and your answer might shape what I cover next. The free self-leadership scorecard is in the description. Download it now and identify your most significant gap. And if this resonates, you don't have to figure it out on your own. I work with senior leaders privately through one-to-one executive coaching and through my Bliss Accelerator for high-achieving women who are preparing for their next level of executive leadership. If either of those feels like the right next step, I'd love to connect. The link to schedule a conversation is in the description. Doing the inner work and getting better every day, that starts with you. I'm Stephanie Hessler, and I'll see you in the next video.